So welcome to February's tutorial, and this month we're going to be taking a deeper dive into looking at the lines on the face. Now in January I gave you the reading sequence as you see here on the side, but what I didn't include was the lines. Now I probably should have done if I'm going to give you the full traditional regular reading sequence. However, January's picture was more so about the other features rather than the lines. So here we are this time, really focusing on the lines. Now the other thing is that every time I've told you about doing a face reading, I've said have the face eye level with you, no expression, nice and clear, not on an angle and all sorts. And I can, you can see this one's on an angle. There's a bit of an expression or a thought process going on his face. And really what I want to show you with this example, the reason why I've chosen it, is because it gives us a great emphasis for the lines and the story that we can put together about this person. Now, one of the things about doing face reading with a photograph is that you can't get any feedback directly. You have to really trust your instincts. And this is actually a really good way to develop your instincts, because if you had a photograph of a person that you could then go back to and say, okay, this is what I've seen. Can you tell me how accurate I've been? That's actually a really good way to validate your skills. It's a bit scary, but it's a really good way to do it. So let's crack on with this reading and let me show you what I'm seeing and how this story gets put together. So we can't really look at the regions in terms of the proportions. We can't look at the forehead very much. So I'm going to dive straight in and I'm going to look at the eyebrows. Now what you'll see here, look, there's the regular eyebrow, but there's coarse hairs jumping out of this eyebrow here, and same over here, very evident. And these coarse eyebrows indicate that there's too much adrenaline flowing through this person, that they probably are living on stress. They're very aggression perhaps is one of their very top elements of themselves. But even if it's not aggression, it may be mental frustration, mental churning that is causing their adrenal glands to kick in to the fight or flight mode more easily than others. And what this indicates is that there'll be a hormonal balance throughout the whole body. So this is a really key indicator of what this person's perpetual mindset and possible lifestyle is like. Equally, when we look at the eyebrows, you'll see that they're quite short and bushy at the ends. This is often the sign of somebody who is burning the candle at both ends, that there's firing off in all different directions. And really, this is somebody whose eyebrows are speaking tons about them because it's a real lifestyle indicator. Now, add to that, we've got these lines going up here. These are the liver lines. Now, I appreciate that in this example, the person might be frowning, might be making an expression. And I'm going to bypass that possibility right now because I want you to see these lines really clearly. So there's one, there's two, there's three, there's possibly a fourth there. And what this means is that this person has had a long time in the whole frustration, maybe suppressed anger, could be depression kind of world. Why am I saying that? Because he's got so many lines easily available on his face. So if his face was resting still and these lines were still showing, then I would definitely say that this has been going on for a very long time. So the next one is this fold or a line here across the bridge of his nose. Now that again could be caused in this instance by an expression, but really, if this line is there easily, this is the pancreas line. So this is to do with how we go about giving ourselves the sweets and treats in life. It's all about self-denial. It's about giving to others all the time because we're so generous and selfless that we're always giving out to other people. And sometimes that can cause a lot of lack of appreciation for the person that's doing the giving. It can cause a lot of frustration and maybe disrupt good relationships. So ponder about that. Equally, we've got here this fold of skin here and here over the eyelid, which is actually crowding out even the eyelashes on this person. Do you remember what that says? This does say that he is a very private person. It's like these folds of skins are actually pulling the shutter down across his eye. And that means that he likes his privacy. He may well be happy to take in other people's information and discuss other people's problems, but he's not going to want to discuss his own. So if he's got a lot going on up here, it's probably that it's being held behind these shutters that are keeping him private. Coming down the face, let's look at the nose. We can't see the ears. There's not a lot else we can see around here, but let's look at the nose. 3 aspects, remember. The bulb, which in this case looks very round. It's even shiny in the photograph. So very round, very plump, a bit like Santa's was last month. And this is indicative of somebody who's very caring, very generous with their time, very giving in every way, and maybe, just maybe too giving. That ties up with the line here. The nostril width. Now I call this the flare. So from the side to the side, how wide is that? And this is quite a generous flare. You can see it from the actual curvature here. So this again confirms that this chap is very, very generous in all manner. And although I do feel that we are looking slightly up to this person's face, which makes the nostrils very visible here, I do feel that even if we were looking straight on at him, and this is experience that's giving me this insight, I do feel that if we were looking straight up at him, he would actually have quite visible nostrils, which again shows that money and time flow right the way through him. So coming on next, we've got these curved lines down from the side of the nose down to the side of the face. And these are number 6 on your health and wellness chart. This is the lines for the lungs, and the emotion here is grief. So, you know, has this person had a huge grief? Have they had severe losses? They don't look that old. So what's been going on in the story of this person? There must be something that's motivating them, that's giving them literally the story on their face. But maybe there's a clue, and the clue is something I've not mentioned to you ever before, but here is the value of the tutorial. Do you see this change of skin here? From the shininess of the bulb that's quite tight to the looseness of the skin that looks a little bit, I don't know, bit thickish, a bit, again, shiny, but it looks a little bit different texture. And there's a definite line here. Now that change in skin texture is quite dramatic. And one of the reasons why I chose this picture is because of this line. Now think about it. Think laterally. This nose bulb area is all about the heart. It's all about the generosity and the givingness of the person. We know that lines are cuts across the energy of the emotion that we're talking about or the organ that we're talking about. So thinking laterally, if this bulb area of the nose is about the heart and we have a line just before it, which is cutting the energy to the heart, what do you think it is? Do you think that he has had a severe heartbreak, a severe emotional issue, maybe to do with what's led him to the grief that he's experienced, that has cut the energy to his heart, and as a result, this line across his nose is the marker that you would read? Do you see how I put that together? And this is something you don't see often, but when you do see it, you know that when you put the full story of the person together, particularly if there's grief lines as well, that there's been a severe emotional trauma that's gone on for them. Now, another confirmation that this was so deep for them and it was making such a difference in their lives is this final line we're going to look at here. And this is the line across the bulb of the chin. This is all about the intestines, letting go and moving on. And so if this person has had a huge emotional heartbreak episode and it's caused him such tremendous deep-seated grief, is he moving on? Is he letting go? Probably not. And how does that impact on his health? Well, it would probably be causing some quite deep stagnation in his digestive system. Because when we hold on to emotions deeply, our whole intestinal system clamps down as though it's holding on to the emotion as well. So we've got a story here of maybe this heartbroken man who's tried his best throughout his life to overcome his sorrow and his loss, whose health is starting to be affected, no doubt. And really, you know, if we were mentoring him, what would we suggest? Think about what you would suggest if this person came to you and you were their therapist. What would you suggest? Try that out for yourself, because it's a good chance now to practice and experience your thinking process, so that when you do get this type of face combination coming to you, you've got some recall to draw upon. So one final thing I want to mention to you here, and again, we don't often get a chance to see it, is the lips. Now, it's hard to tell whether they're both balanced, whether they're the same size, because he's opened his mouth. We don't know whether it's kind of moving or not. But look here, these little tiny bumps. Do you see them? They're like bumps and bubbles across his lip. This tells me that he has got a stomach issue going on. Now, the emotion for the stomach is the emotion of dread. So it could well be that there's something long held in his past that he's still holding on to, that he's concerned might come again. Think about that laterally, but know how to spot that sign. So that's kind of discolorations. They're a bit paler, that one particularly is, and they look like little blisters or bumps along the lip. The other final thing is these lines here. Can you see them? All these lines. This is a sign of dehydration in one sense, but also it's a sign that the body is pulling back its energy resources to help serve its main organs. And this is the confirmation here that his body and mindset have been running too hard against its better judgment, against its resources. All of this adrenal rushing and stress and all the rest of it started to take its toll, because the main organs are pulling back energy into themselves because they're struggling. So you've got lots of confirmations on this face. And although I'm only taking 10 minutes or so over this, if you're actually doing a live face reading, this could possibly, with feedback, with guidance, and then future steps, this could actually take a good half hour, even though we haven't got the most ideal, straightforward picture. We can't see all the different sections clearly. We can't do half of what we would normally do. You've still got a tremendous opportunity to do, I would say, a health and well-being reading on this person, which always, of course, extends into the emotions. So have a go at that. Keep collecting your own gallery of pictures, wherever you find them, magazines or wherever you come across them. But if it's somebody that you might come across in real life, do make sure you get their permission if you're going to be doing some work with them, because that's only fair. So from there, that's our tutorial for this month, and I look forward to seeing you next time. If there's anything else that you want to ask questions about, or even about this particular face, then please do pop a question in the comment box, and I'll be more than happy to answer it for you. So until next time, then please just stay wonderful, enjoy your face reading, and thanks for being here.